they outlined for Koepka are fantastic. I think it's perfect. It is punitive, but it's fair. You've got to levy some sort of fine, so to speak, for defecting, and I think they've done a wonderful job of being equitable and punishing him a bit at the same time. I think Brooks ultimately wants to be playing with the best.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Memphis is shopping John Morant. Yeah, no kidding. They should have shopped him 2 years ago and got rid of him. The problem is, where does he go? Like, what team is going to sit there and deal with a dude who, A, has not been healthy or reliable both on the court or off the court? Like, who's trading for John Morant here, Coach?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
I'll tell you what, guys. The insider scam is like the best insider scam in the business of, like, in the history of television. They don't know anything until their phone gets the text message in which the deal is done, right? We saw this with Quinn Hughes. We were told, he wants to play with his brothers. He wants to play with his brothers. Now they're saying that he wanted to be traded to Detroit. In other words, just say you don't know.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
Welcome to another edition of the Craig Carton Show. My main man, Tyrone Johnson, right there. Snowmageddon is on its way. We're getting 19 feet of snow in New York City. I'm getting 34 feet of snow in New Jersey. Just got a phone call, lost power. They lied. I got plenty of power right now. And we got not one but two championship games. We got Seattle. We got the Rams. We got New England. We got Denver. We got backup quarterbacks better than starting quarterbacks. We got weather. We got wings. We got nachos. And we have football. And we have what I think now is going to go down in history as maybe the most embarrassing offseason search for a head coach in the annals of NFL history. And I'm talking specifically about the situation in Cleveland with the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns have now reached out to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different men, 5 of them, and offered all 5 of them the head coaching job for the Cleveland Browns. 3 of them said, I'm not even going to be interviewed for the job. 2 of them said, I'll be interviewed, but I have no interest in the job. Who's going to be number 6? I have an idea, but first, good morning, Tyrone. How are you?
Good morning. I'm very interested.
Yes, you are going to be very interested.
Yeah.
So here's what's interesting to me about this situation. There's only 32 of these jobs. If you've never been a head coach before, how do you say no to what might be the only opportunity you have to become a head coach? So let me give you an example. A guy like Mike McDaniel, who has been a head coach and just was a head coach, I understand a guy like that who's very much in demand for OC jobs, saying, I don't want to go from Miami, which was kind of a cluster F, to a situation that's worse.
Right.
I understand that because no guarantee you get a third opportunity to be a head coach. So a guy like Mike McDaniel saying no to Cleveland is not a knock on Cleveland. I want to be fair about that. But a guy like, Chris Shula, who's never been a head coach, Clint Kubiak, who's never been a head coach, guys like that, them saying no, and they both didn't. Shula did, not Kubiak. I'm just giving you an example.
Their daddies were head coaches. They weren't.
Yeah, so to me, a guy that's never been a head coach saying, I'm not interested in even being interviewed for it, says a lot. But here's my question. Who does it say a lot about more? Does it say more about, I don't want to work for a dysfunctional organization, the Cleveland Browns? That could be an answer. We're going to get Tyrone's answer in a second.
Yeah.
Or does it say, I don't want to be the head coach of a team where the starting quarterback's name is Shedeur Sanders because he can't play NFL quarterback? Now, that's an interesting question. You can't check both boxes. I know what box you check. I don't have to ask. But what box do you check?
Well, I'm picking the one that actually makes sense, in my opinion.
That they don't like Shedeur Sanders.
No, that they don't
think they can win with him, so they don't want to be the head coach of Shedeur Sanders. I'm with you 100%.
No, but
we're in lockstep on that, Tyrone.
Even
Let's
if
just move right along to topic 2.
Even if he stinks, right?
Yeah.
You would get a different quarterback.
Well, but
No.
There's not a lot of quarterbacks in this draft.
No. If he's right, so you sign one.
Yeah, who?
What do you
There's
mean?
no quarterbacks available right now.
Yes, there are.
Shedeur Sanders is their starting quarterback.
So why not go sign?
I don't want to coach that
why
guy.
Why not sign Malik Willis then?
Or
No.
Go ahead.
This is why I don't buy it.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, one, I have no idea what these coaches actually think about Shedeur. I know what you think about Shedeur. I do not know what
Wait a minute,
actual.
all these coaches said no. 3 of them said, I won't even go for an interview.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's because the Browns organization's terrible.
Are you sure about that?
I'm 100% sure about that.
They were in the playoffs a year ago.
They were not in the playoffs
Yes,
a
they
year
were.
ago. No, they were
Yes,
in the
they
playoffs
were.
2 years ago.
Yeah, they were in the playoffs recently.
Listen,
I know that.
You got a coach.
I know a lot about football, despite what people say
The
about me.
last 2 years, they didn't make the postseason. You have an owner who's absent most of the time.
Yeah, terrible owner.
He's out in L.A. He flies in, makes decisions, and then flies back out.
Yep.
He doesn't follow through. He doesn't do what he's supposed to do managing the organization. I'm not saying Shedeur can play at all.
Well, we know he can't. Right.
I don't
mean,
know.
Joe Flacco took
that.
that team to the postseason with the same ownership. So I'm going to assume it's not an ownership problem, although I agree with you. I think he's a lousy owner. Here's what I think the solution is in Cleveland. And see, I'm special.
See, this is hate. But
not hate at all.
You decided to start Friday violent.
No, not
you
even
chose
a
violence
I
to
love
start
Cleveland.
a Friday.
I was a season ticket holder in the dog pound.
No, not against Cleveland.
was very good to me.
Against Shedeur.
I'm very good back to Cleveland.
Shedeur's somewhere minding his own business right now. You said, you know what? You stink. I'm saying it again for no reason.
Well, because nobody wants to be his coach.
It's Cleveland.
Yeah.
People don't worry about
Cleveland's
individual
a wonderful
players.
town. I spent a great year of my life there.
It's Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
Okay. I believe the Guardians, everybody would manage that team.
Yeah, well,
because they're even though they don't spend money, they're a well-run organization.
It's a wonderful city.
They're good basically every year.
The 5 people of Cleveland don't deserve the hate that you're throwing
The
their way.
Cavaliers are good as well.
Yes, they are.
They're a playoff team.
Yeah.
The Browns have stunk basically since Bernie Kosar left.
They've had a couple decent years, but I can't argue that either. Okay, and multiple owners, of course, throughout that time as well. Here's what I see, but the reason I'm special and keep getting employed and have great opportunities to talk sports is because I'm great at it, A, and B, because I'm very humble today.
Yeah, I can tell. Just ask you how humble you are.
Tell me how great I am.
Yeah, just ask you, yeah.
No, look, here's the situation. Nobody wants the job. But unlike a lot of people that just like to point out people's problems and be all negative, they don't have solutions. I come with a solution.
Okay.
See, I'm going to tell you that nobody wants the job. That's very clear right now.
Clear.
And they're going to wind up settling, unless they listen to the show and take my advice, they're going to wind up settling for a guy that may have a decent track record as a coordinator or position coach somewhere. They might settle for the same old. Like if Mike McCarthy doesn't get one of the jobs that's still available.
Apparently Steelers are high on it, for example,
because they want to keep Aaron Rodgers. We'll get that in a second.
Right, yeah.
But so use a guy like Mike McCarthy. Obviously, guy won a Super Bowl. He's been very successful. Took the Cowboys to the playoffs. Won one playoff game in 4 years there, whatever it was. So maybe no one else wants him. You go with Mike McCarthy. At least he's a credible guy.
I would like that hire for them.
Sure, I'm with you
for
on
them,
that.
Yeah.
But right now, it's like getting embarrassing. Everybody keeps saying no, and part of the story is they're saying no to Shedeur Sanders. They don't want any part of Shedeur Sanders. So I've got a solution, and it's an obvious solution.
Yeah.
Why not go get a failed college coach to go from college to the pros, since he can't win in college and the bloom is off the rose a little bit? Why not just do the obvious? Why not just say, hey, Deion Sanders, will you leave Colorado and come be the head coach of the Cleveland Browns? Maybe you want to coach Shedeur Sanders. Now, I don't know how often they talk. I don't know what the relationship is since Shedeur went pro, but it is the man's father. And if it has not worked out in Colorado, we all know that. And Colorado doesn't seem committed to spend $20 to $30 million a year on NIL.
They're not.
They've got a $26 million deficit. Now, part of that, to be fair, is Deion's salary, as it was reported. But that's not Deion's fault. So they haven't won. Last year was a terrible year in Colorado. So maybe Colorado's like, The juice ain't worth the squeeze anymore with Deion. And I think they're wrong because I think Deion's great for these young men in a lot of ways, but he's not proven to be a great college coach. Well, maybe the problem is he's coaching kids. I don't know. But nobody wants the Cleveland job. So rather than either go for an inexperienced guy that Browns fans are going to be like, come on, man, we deserve better than that, rather than go with, the same old, because Browns fans are going to say, we deserve better than that, just call up the man's father. Call him up. Just call Deion up and say, look, Deion, would you leave Colorado and be the Browns head coach? By the way, he might say no. And then that'd be a wrap. Then the Cleveland Browns have to move to Baltimore again, and then they're done with football. But I think the obvious call that they have to make is to Deion Sanders, no?
Well, listen,
it's an obvious answer.
Listen, they got it all clipped for social, so that's good. Deion's not well physically.
No, he's had blood clots.
Yeah. So that's why.
Things,
So now you're going to go from a job where college, which is demanding, but there's literally limits on how many hours you're allowed to practice.
Sure, okay, how about that?
You're going to now go into an NFL situation with a man with bad health, where basically you have to work around the clock. For that reason, I don't think it works. Also, I do think Deion as a CEO type coach. What I mean is, I think Deion would probably find an interesting offensive coordinator, an interesting defensive coordinator.
Probably former players, actually.
Yeah, and I think he would be interesting in that way.
I do too.
I don't think he's prepared to put in 18-hour days.
I actually think the reverse. I respect and hear what you're saying, and you're not wrong at all. I think college is a different animal than the pros are. If you act as the CEO type, which I think Deion would,
that's what he would.
And I think you'd find a bunch of ex-players that would love to come coach at the NFL level. At least at the NFL level, you're coaching grown men, all of them millionaires, right?
True.
There's a certain sense of self-responsibility that comes with the NFL that some colleges don't have. So I think some of the issues and the time and all that stuff would not affect them as much as you think. But Cleveland, I've got your savior. His name's Deion Sanders. Let's go.
What is going on with this John Morant saga, right? Joe's on the block. Joe wants to be traded. But now Joe comes back and he denies all trade talk and says John says he has no desire to play elsewhere. So he shut it down. He's still viewed as a franchise centerpiece when on the floor. Memphis, they're better with him.
Pro basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Buffalo Bills have to find a new head coach. Take a look at the leaders right now. A 33% chance Brian Dable takes that job. You say, well, why? Wait a second here. He's the head coach of the New York Giants. Did you know he came from the Buffalo Bills and basically resurrected Josh Allen on that MVP trajectory while he was with the Buffalo Bills? Clay Kubiak, Joe Brady, Davis Webb, all offensive guys, which I agree with.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Sure, you could say the punt block is a key play in the game. It was.
It was.
But the signature play of last night's game is the John Elway-esque diving sideways into the end zone. There's a picture of it right there. To effectively win the national championship. That dude's a baller.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Hold on a second, though. You believe that Mike McDaniel is not head coach caliber?
No.
There's a lot of evidence that says Cliff Kingsbury is not
That's
either.
fine that you believe that. But here's the thing. Here's the thing.
There's more. Hold on a second.
Hang on, go ahead.
Mike McDaniel has a better resume than Cliff Kingsbury.
He does on paper, but he's not a locker room guy.
Well, is Cliff?
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. Great to have you. Tyrone Johnson here as well. Just one final thought on the Cleveland situation, and then I promise we're going to move on. So it's interesting. Someone had this on Twitter. I want to give him credit for just forgot who it was. It's not my independent thought, just to be fair about it. But, the Baltimore Ravens were a kick away from making it into the playoffs this year, right?
Yeah, one missed field goal.
Right, and John Harbaugh gets fired. Obviously, the whole thing goes on with Lamar, blah, 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 blah. They've already hired a new head coach. Jesse Minter's new head coach for the Baltimore Ravens. The Cleveland Browns were, what, a 4-win, 5-win team this year? All right, the Cleveland Browns, as we sit here today, do you know that they have not yet interviewed the minority candidates that they have to interview for the Rooney Rule? So if there's a guy that they do like,
right,
and that guy is also being considered by one of the other 3 teams that currently have an opening, they can't go get the guy unless he's a minority, obviously.
Right.
And that just shows your level of incompetence. Like the season ended a month ago.
Right.
And you have not done the 2 required minority interviews yet. The Baltimore Ravens were a kick away from the playoffs. They did every interview and have hired their head coach.
Yep.
You haven't done the minority interviews yet to satisfy the Rooney Rule.
It's unbelievable.
That's what we're dealing with in Cleveland.
That's unbelievable.
Now, I don't know, and I have to fact check this. If you hire a woman or a person of color, a minority for the job, I'm not sure. Do you still have to interview a second minority? I would say probably not.
I don't think so. And then the team that you hired them from now gets a compensation pick.
Now, that would not be the case with Dion, because he's coming from college.
Right.
Just another reason to consider Dion.
Well, but they don't get your pick. The NFL awards those compensation picks at the end of the round. Yeah, it's a bonus pick. So San Francisco's going to get one because Saleh got hired, therefore, from their tree. That's the encouragement.
But you don't get it from the team the guy goes to.
You don't get it from the team, no.
Well,
So they'll get that. Yeah, they'll get that next year, yeah.
All right, so that's just, look, that's a situation. Mike McDaniel, Brian Dable seem that they're the finalists. They're in the running for the Bills job. I know the Bills are down in Miami or Florida, South Florida today, and into the weekend. They have 3 interviews set up. Anthony Lynn is one of them. Mike McDaniel's another one of them. And there's a third coach whose name escapes me right now.
Yeah.
So I was told that it's down to 2, but they are doing 3 more interviews. They've already met with Dable. Josh Allen loves Dable, of course. Josh Allen is also with them. He got on the private jet, flew to Florida, and he is a part of these conversations.
What?
He's the franchise.
Yeah, but
So Josh Allen, even though he's the guy that cost them the playoff game against the Denver Broncos and essentially cost Sean McDermott his job, Josh Allen is in on the interviews. He already met with Brian Dable, and now that they're all going to South Florida, Josh Allen, either it's a Zoom thing or he's there in person, but he's a part of the interviews.
Well, I have a real problem with this for one big reason.
Hey, mate.
All right, now, again, this is another thought also from Twitter. There are certain guys that have coached quarterbacks, such as Jalen Hurts, personal coach, and different guys. They say the reason Josh Allen was missing those throws in that game was his footwork has broken down. That's coaching. What you need is a guy who's going to coach him hard on his fundamentals, because we know how good Josh Allen can be. But if your fundamentals aren't good, you're going to miss throws. And we saw him personally miss a lot of wide open guys because his bottom half, as they call it in the football parlance, wasn't sound. Is he going to pick a guy? Are we 100% sure? Not 99% sure, 100% sure he's going to pick a guy that will coach him hard over a guy.
Well, that'd be Brian Dable.
Right.
That'd be Brian Dable. They quite famously coached him very hard and got him to learn how to go with his mechanics, whoever it is.
That's what it is.
Obviously, it was a big part of his development.
Because he already had the big arm coming out of Wyoming. The issue was he was inaccurate because of his bottom half.
Yeah.
All those issues came back in that playoff game.
I have to tell you the truth, and I apologize for doing this without talking to you about it first. That was the rumor about you back in the day, too. I'm just telling you. Yep. A lot of the ladies used to say to me, Tyrone's a very competent lover, but his bottom half sometimes, he's all over the place. And even Ethan heard that about you, too.
You know, that's the word that was out there.
South Jersey people talk, man.
See, that's why people got to shut up. People got to shut up. I'm out here doing my best. All right?
That's what we can do our best. Meanwhile, the NFL is dealing with another embarrassing moment that got announced late yesterday for some of you, early this morning. You know, there's already a big uproar about their decision to have Bad Bunny as the halftime show.
Yeah.
Bad Bunny, who is the biggest #1 selling artist globally right now.
Yeah, he's the biggest artist in the world at the moment.
But he refuses to perform now on American soil. His rationale for that was he didn't want ICE rounding up his fans outside of concerts. By the way, that has never happened, but he was concerned about it. But Bad Bunny is the halftime show. And Bad Bunny announced yesterday, because he's Bad Bunny, that during his halftime show, he's going to wear a dress. Now, I think he wears a dress frequently when he's on tour and doing his live concerts, and that's kind of his thing. But Bad Bunny came out and said, and I'm quoting him. I want to be very clear about what I'm saying. This is a direct quote from Bad Bunny. He's going to wear a dress during his halftime show to honor queer icons. That's what he's going to do. Now, because of that, there's a group of Americans that don't go along with that have now announced that they're trying to lead a boycott of the halftime show, which, by the way, is never going to happen, of course. It's still going to have over 100 million people watching it, and he's a global superstar. Like you said, he has the #1 current performer from a ticket sales standpoint and download standpoint in the world. Maybe not in America, but globally, and the Super Bowl is now a global event.
And that's why they picked him, because they're trying to grow the game internationally.
It's a weird thing because, there's still about an 85%, dominated by men audience for football.
Yeah.
And while those men might appreciate Bad Bunny's music, they are now yelling and screaming, I don't want a man on stage wearing a dress to honor his words, not mine, queer icons. So this has become a huge, kind of egg on the face of the NFL, because the NFL, people are now clamoring, is the NFL going to comment on his decision of what he's going to wear and why he's wearing it for the biggest concert of the year? My guess is the NFL will say nothing. And they'll say nothing, right? But what's your take on it?
Well, one, I'm looking for his quote.
By the way, if you hear noise in the background, the studio that we work from is inside a restaurant in Midtown Manhattan.
Yeah,
I'm being told nobody hears it.
It's not going over the air.
Great, then never mind I said anything about the drill that's currently pounding
we can hear it.
into my head.
Hear it. Yeah,
okay,
we can
great,
hear it.
good.
Yeah, it's a bit annoying. I'm very interested in, one, if he actually does it. And two, just because the NFL doesn't say anything publicly, that doesn't mean they don't say something private.
They can't be thrilled about it, I assume, right?
Yeah, most likely not, because they want to catch
by the way,
the
that's what he does at his concerts.
Right, so that's the one. That's the other part of it, though. If you pick an artist that does this regularly, you can't be surprised if he does the thing he normally does.
I agree with you 100%.
During his show.
Like, this is why people are upset about it when they signed him. Part of the reason. There's a lot of reasons. Not just that. But look, I've always say this. If you know a dude is amphibious, why would you be shocked when he acts like an amphibian?
So he's a salamander?
Yeah, he's a
salamander.
He's gonna have pants on. He's gonna have a skirt on, a dress on. I don't know, but
he's a frog.
That's what the guy does.
Frog or toad?
So don't hire an amphibious performer if you don't want him to be what he is. I'm probably gonna watch it.
.7% chance of winning a PGA Tour major. Would I be wrong by saying I want to invest in the no on Scotty Scheffler? And that $100 investment would pay back $213 here. Everybody thinks Scotty's going to win. It's like 100 golfers in those fields each and every week, and the major's the best golfers in the world. I'm going against the grain, Joe. Give me the no on Scotty Scheffler.
Prediction Markets Edge. Only on SportsGrid.
I'll tell you what, guys. The insider scam is like the best insider scam in the business of, like, in the history of television. They don't know anything until their phone gets the text message in which the deal is done. Right? We saw this with Quinn Hughes. We were told, he wants to play with his brothers. He wants to play with his brothers. Now they're saying that he wanted to be traded to Detroit. In other words, just say you don't know.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Memphis is shopping John Morant. Yeah, no kidding. They should have shopped him 2 years ago and got rid of him. The problem is, where does he go? Like, what team is going to sit there and deal with a dude who, A, has not been healthy or reliable both on the court or off the court? Like, who's trading for John Morant here, Coach?
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Buy or sell. Tua has made his last start for the Dolphins. Feels like Sam went easy on this one.
If I could be that crazy guy, was it Jim Cramer? Buy. Yeah, there's no way he's playing for the Dolphins again. After he said that statement, there was no way in hell anyway. But once again, new coach, new GM. I don't know how they're going to do the cap hit. It's massive.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. Good to have you, Tyrone Johnson, here as well.
Yeah.
I'm very well aware that the screen behind me is black with a nice rainbow-colored box. Turning around, we're on it. We're fixing it. Ignore that. All right, nothing to see there.
That's from Bad Bunny.
Yeah, exactly right. That's right. By the way, they mocked up what it would look like if I was the halftime show. I don't know if you guys saw that.
What was it?
Can we show that on the? Can we show that to everybody? They mocked up. There you go. Yeah. By the way, that's a demure dress. Like that's not even a sexy dress.
That's not the kind you would
I
wear.
look like a flying nun in that dress. You know?
There's more? There's more picks.
By the way, I could rock those shoes, those white Tims in a minute, though. And let me see the other picture you guys mocked up. I think it's me with Bad Bunny, is it not?
Oh, it's me.
By the way.
Oh, I can pull that off.
What's funny about
pull that off.
that's from Tyrone's wedding album. That's where we got that.
Yeah, come on.
Listen, it's okay to marry a guy named Frank. I supported you. I was there. You know full well I love you.
That's what we're doing? That's
no.
what we're doing.
And by the way, they have the three of us on stage performing for Super Bowl 60.
Listen, no.
It's like the interracial gay in sync.
Listen, if they told me you got to wear a dress, but you get to perform at the Super Bowl halftime show,
100%.
I'm absolutely wearing a dress and not going to care what anybody says about it.
Dude, I'd put Spanx on.
It's good for the brand. Oh, yeah, I'm going to be up there looking good. Like, it's good for the brand. I'm performing at halftime.
I'm with you on 100%.
Don't know a lick of Spanish, but
it don't matter. You can say hola.
Oh, I can definitely say hola.
And como estás.
I can
You're
count
good.
too.
That's it.
Count it down.
Real quick, I was trying to handicap these football games. We'll do more in depth coming up a little later in the show.
Yeah.
But I was looking at the Patriot-Denver game, right?
Yeah.
And I wanted to see how Drake Mays performed when he played against good teams.
Okay. All
right. So obviously, they only have, I guess now it's 2 wins this year against winning teams, right? And if you include, I guess 3 if you include, the both playoff games, right?
Yeah, you got to include. You have to.
So you have to. So, but here's what Drake May's done this year against winning teams.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and it's really, it stands out. And I know it's going to come across like a knock on Drake May. I think Drake May's the runner-up for MVP this year. He's had a great year. If I'm a Patriot fan, man, I feel really good that I've got a legitimate quarterback who's only going to get better. I think Matthew Stafford's the MVP, but I think Drake May is number 2. And having the runner-up for MVP ain't a bad place to be, right?
Especially when he's only in year 2.
And when you're in the AFC East, like Josh Allen's not going anywhere. Right. If you want to compete, you have to have a good quarterback, which is why the Jets and Dolphins have not really competed.
Yep.
All right? And I say that respectfully to Mike McDaniel. He did make the playoffs twice. He was a wild card, but he did. But in any event, Drake May, when he's played against teams with a winning record, which obviously that's what he's got coming up, Sunday afternoon in Denver, albeit against a backup quarterback. 5 games I have right here, okay? Mm-hmm. 5 games against winning teams. The 2 playoff games, the 2 games against the Bills, and I'm missing one, doesn't matter. Here we go. 5 games against winning teams. Mm-hmm. 6 touchdowns in 5 games.
Okay.
Not great.
Okay.
4 interceptions in those 5 games. And 7 fumbles.
Yeah.
So, and you even saw it against Houston last week. Now, Houston's a much different defense than most teams, while the Broncos are a very good defense. Good. Will Anderson's not on the Denver Broncos, and that dude was a wrecking machine in that game.
He was. Now, but they did lead the NFL in sacks, talking about Denver.
Yeah, very good defense.
Yes.
And they have the best cornerback, I think, in football, in Surtain, right? Who did get banged up last week, but he's obviously playing.
Yeah, he's playing.
So, my concern for the Patriots, again, I have no rooting interest in this game. I don't like the Patriots. I don't like Sean Payton. I'm going to be very cliche. I'm just hoping for a great game as a fan. And I think the NFL playoffs have given us 90% great games, overtime games, lead changes, fourth quarter comebacks. I think this playoff run has been awesome. And I'm hoping we get 2 great competitive games regardless of the score. But Drake May, thus far in his short career and in year 2 of that career, against winning teams, has not played well. That's a fact. And if you're going up against a really good defense on the road, and that stadium's going to be as loud as Foxborough was last week against the Texans, Drake May is a question mark in this game for me.
Yeah, he is. He is. But the number one person I blame is left tackle Will Campbell, who I think
he was terrible.
He was terrible in all of those games against good pass rushers, and he faces another one today. To me, if they are to lose the game, the quarterback will take the blame because that's what happens when you're the quarterback. But if they lose it, I believe it'll be because they can't protect them and they don't make adjustments to protect them because Will Campbell, their top-flight rookie who they brought in, and he did start all year, has been horrendous against good opponents.
Let me ask you this.
And he may stink.
Do you think there's a chance if Drake May throws 5 interceptions and has 2 fumbles?
Yeah.
Do you think there's a chance, let me think, that, I don't know, Dan Orlovsky will be critical of him on Monday and then apologize for that criticism on Tuesday? And then just go attack Lamar Jackson again, which is what he does best?
Yeah, that's what he's going to do.
You think that's what he'll do?
That's what he'll do.
All right, so we're
he'll go.
Is he represented by CAA also?
I can't believe he had 5 turnovers. Lamar Jackson also would have in that situation. Lamar's sitting at home going, why you talking about me?
Yeah.
What you
like,
talking about
Lamar's
me for?
like, why am I getting strays?
Right.
Like, I had to take my lumps, I'm out.
Right.
But don't compare me to the guy.
That's exactly what'll happen.
We got more football coming your way. We'll do both games. And we have some news and notes around sports right after this.
7% chance of winning a PGA Tour major, would I be wrong by saying I want to invest in the no on Scotty Scheffler? And that $100 investment would pay back $213 here. Everybody thinks Scotty's going to win. It's like 100 golfers in those fields each and every week, and the majors, the best golfers in the world. I'm going against the grain, Joe. Give me the no on Scotty Scheffler.
Prediction Markets Edge. Only on SportsGrid.
I'll tell you what, guys. The insider scam is like the best insider scam in the business of, like, in the history of television. They don't know anything until their phone gets the text message in which the deal is done, right? We saw this with Quinn Hughes. We were told, he wants to play with his brothers. He wants to play with his brothers. Now they're saying that he wanted to be traded to Detroit. In other words, just say you don't know.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Memphis is shopping John Morant. Yeah, no kidding. They should have shopped him 2 years ago and got rid of him. The problem is, where does he go? Like, what team is going to sit there and deal with a dude who, A, has not been healthy or reliable both on the court or off the court? Like, who's trading for John Morant here, Coach?
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Buy or sell. Tua has made his last start for the Dolphins. Feels like Sam went easy on this one.
If I could be that crazy guy, was it Jim Cramer? Buy. Yeah, there's no way he's playing for the Dolphins again. After he said that statement, there was no way in hell anyway. But once again, new coach, new GM. I don't know how they're going to do the cap hit. It's massive.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. Great to have you here. Tyrone Johnson here as well. We actually have some breaking NFL news for you right now as well.
Yes, we do.
And this one's coming completely out of left field. So we know that Brian Daboll's interviewed for the Bills job.
Yeah.
We know that there's a contingent of Bills executives in South Florida right now interviewing Mike McDaniel, Anthony Lynn, and there's another guy as well. But now we get this report. And this one, I mean, you talk about out of left field. Let's play a little guessing game here, Tyrone.
Okay.
The Buffalo Bills are interviewing a 5th candidate now for their head coaching position. He's a former quarterback that is a borderline Hall of Famer.
Okay.
You want to take a quick guess?
Yeah, I'm going to go Eli Manning.
Eli Manning.
Because he didn't get in. He's borderline. I think he's going to get in, but
Eli Manning.
Quarterback, he's a football guy.
Okay. Eli Manning is not the answer.
Oh, he's
Sorry.
not the answer.
No, Eli Manning is not coming out of retirement to coach the Buffalo Bills.
Joe Brady's the third name for the Miami pick. Just so we fill it in just for the people.
Thank you.
Joe Brady.
Joe Brady's their offensive coordinator.
Yeah, I'm going to go Randall Cunningham.
Oh,
he's been doing a lot of interviews lately. He's been back outside. Yeah,
nice.
He's been going on different podcasts talking about.
I'm a huge Randall guy, as you know.
You are.
Randall Cunningham used to leave me voicemails quoting the scripture on my voicemail back in the mid '90s in Philadelphia.
He is team chaplain currently of the Raiders.
Oh, is
he
that
lives
right?
out in Vegas.
I didn't even know that. I know he lives in Vegas.
Yeah,
I
he's
know
the
that.
team chaplain.
I love Randall. Randall is my dude.
But I can see him getting into coaching, and he's a leader. I know he's led a lot of people.
Not the answer. Great guess, by the way.
Eddie is a borderline Hall of Famer by his numbers. Borderline. He's not in, but borderline.
I love Randall, so I'm going to tell you the answer.
Yeah.
What would you say if I told you that the Buffalo Bills are now going to interview Phillip Rivers
Get the hell out of
for
here.
their head coaching position?
For what?
Now, someone might say, well, he was a great quarterback, borderline Hall of Famer. Obviously,
I think he'll get in 5 years. I think he'll get in.
Played competently, although he didn't win a single game for the Colts when he came back. But, I mean, to be fair, having not played in 5 years, pretty damn good.
Yeah.
So his only coaching experience is that he has been a high school coach for his sons.
St. Michael Catholic High School.
Now, he also said when the Colts season ended this year that he was done. It was a wrap.
Yeah.
That he was going back home and he was going back to the high school sideline to finish the job he started. I believe he's the head coach of that high school, and his sons play football.
Yes.
One of his kids is a well-regarded high school quarterback, as a matter of fact. So it just shows you, anytime a guy tells you that I want to go back and spend time with my family, they're just saying that till something better comes along. I'm just saying it's a fact. I've never come across the guy that says the reason or the rationale for leaving a sport is to spend more time with their family. I've never seen one of them spend more time with their family for longer than a year.
You're absolutely right.
Because then they're like, wait a minute. I don't want to be home.
Yep.
I don't like being home. I love my wife. I love my family. I love my kids. But this whole thing only works when daddy's gone a lot. Like, I'll see you guys once a week. Honey, I'll take care of business once a week. That's what you're getting from me. I'll provide a great lifestyle financially for everybody. But I'm not the cat that wants to be home. And I know a lot of dudes that don't want to be home. I'm not saying they're cheating. I'm not saying they're bad guys. I'm not saying they're doing anything wrong. There's a segment of the male population that they get very comfortable not being home.
Yep.
And to be fair, their families get comfortable with them not being home also.
Yes.
That's what you're witnessing now with Phillip Rivers. I don't know if he'd be a good head coach or not. I think he'd be probably a damn good offensive coordinator if you had a really good quarterback, which the Bills do in Josh Allen. But the fact that Phillip Rivers is interviewing now tells me he's the leader for the job.
Yeah, I completely
agree. As a franchise, why would you embarrass yourself by acknowledging it?
Right. Why would you do it? And if Daboll, like some people thought that the Daboll thing was just going to automatically happen. You didn't say that. Nope. You said he was a favorite.
He's a finalist.
Right.
Yeah.
But if he was definitely getting the job, you don't go interview somebody this far off the radar for the head coaching job. You could have hired Daboll, and Daboll could have called about offensive coordinator, quarterback coach, whatever. I think there's a chance he gets it, and this would be an owner who seems to suddenly want attention and a president that seems to suddenly want attention. What's the move that would get the most attention and get the most headlines? You don't hire any of these run-of-the-mill candidates. You get a guy who's a household name as far as fame. Everybody knows who he is.
And people are going to question it like, that's an odd choice, right? And his only experience is high school coaching. I mean, to be fair, J.J. Redick's only experience was youth basketball coaching.
Right.
But they both played at a very high level. That's the only comparison I can give you. It's not even a football comparison. But you talk about shocking people today. And here's what's really crazy about it. I think a lot of us, I know I did, I can't speak for you, Tyrone, but I know for myself, my opinion of how the Buffalo Bills run their franchise changed dramatically at that press conference a couple days ago.
Absolutely.
When Terry Pegula came out and said that it was Sean McDermott that wanted Keon Coleman. And then there's 19 videos showing that it's Brandon Beane that really wanted Keon Coleman.
That's right.
And poor Keon Coleman.
Minded his own business.
Just taking strays.
Did nothing.
From everywhere. Yeah. So I don't think the Bills are a well-operated organization anymore.
I agree with you.
Right?
Completely.
And I think once they got Kathy Hochul, the governor of New York, to give public funds to build them a new stadium, the crazy came out.
Yep.
That's what you see now.
You got all money.
And I'll tell you this from experience. You can't keep the crazy down.
No.
The crazy always finds a way to. It's like an octopus.
Yeah, I mean,
if you put an octopus in this room, them octopies? Octopuses?
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
No, it is.
They find a way out.
Thing, yeah.
The crazy always finds a way out.
It always finds a way out.
That's what you see.
I work with you. I know. So yeah, the crazy always finds its way out. And this is the thing. It's not a shot. You know I love Craig. Ethan trying to instigate.
By the way, is he wrong?
Right. The crazy always comes out. This is the one thing also about this thing.
Yeah.
This is where when people complain about like the good old boys club and stuff like that, you mean to tell me there's some guys, I'm not talking about race at all, I'm talking about there's coaches out there toiling now for 20 years, hoping to get an opportunity and doing all these things and moving their families from city to city.
Yeah.
And those assistants are not millionaires that move from city to city.
Yeah.
You're Cleveland's quality control coach. They get Tennessee's this person, you move around. And meanwhile, a guy fresh off the field with no experience, boom, right to the head of line head coaching.
To piss people off.
And this is what bothers people about the NFL thing.
I'm going to push back a teeny bit, just for the sake of devil's advocacy. You know, I'm one of those guys, I hate the same old, same old.
Right.
I hate that every year it's the same, 5 to 12 guys that are mentioned for every job.
I agree.
I like new blood. I always have, always will. I want to see somebody else get an opportunity, right? I feel the way, in a lot of aspects of life. So
I agree with that.
You are right. There's gonna be a guy that says, what else do I have to bleep and do to get an interview or get an actual opportunity for a job? No disrespect to Phillip Rivers. It's not his fault.
Not his fault at all.
But you're gonna hire Phillip Rivers to be your head coach. And man, my resume speaks for itself. I'm deserving of the opportunity.
I started in college.
I don't care if you're
moved
black
up.
or white, don't matter to me. But there are guys out there that are saying, hang on a second now. Hang on a second. Like, I understand John Harbaugh getting a job.
Right.
That makes sense to me.
Right.
I understand Mike McDaniel getting an offensive coordinator
Just
job.
a head coach.
That makes sense to me. I get Dable getting an OC job. That makes sense to me. I would not understand being passed over for a guy that's never been a coach.
Right.
That wouldn't make sense to me. Now, if you told me that you're enamored with Phillip Rivers and his ability, pick up that Colts offense, which they said was very similar to the offense he ran, when he last played for the Colts.
Picked it up in 3 days.
5 years ago.
Yeah, 3 days.
Then
Boom.
I think if you wanted to hire Phillip Rivers to be your new offensive coordinator, I mean, I like that.
Right.
I like that a lot. Quarterback to quarterback, you'd be a great teacher. He understands how hard it is to be a high-level quarterback. That makes a lot of sense. And I'm not saying he wouldn't be a good head coach, but I'd like to see him be an OC first.
Or something
I'd like to see that first.
I'd like to see something first.
But here's what we learned, a valuable lesson. The 4 weeks that he was away from home as the starting quarterback of the Indianapolis Colts, his wife and his kids were like, I kind of like this. This kind of works out for me. Daddy's a celebrity again, so I get access to things. Daddy's making money again. Hadn't made a nickel in the last 5 years. Now he's made a lot of money, so I'm sure they're good.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, the prospect of Daddy being away, like he ain't cheating on you in Buffalo. I can tell you that. I live there. And he's a God-fearing Christian
and this is a man that doesn't have time to cheat.
Right.
He doesn't give his wife a break. He got 400 kids.
Yeah, he's got more kids than Stephon Diggs.
He does.
And everybody's making fun of Stephon Diggs. This cat's got more kids than Diggs has.
Yeah, he does.
So there you go. And the NFL's never at a loss for news. Never at a loss for news. And I would think, like, if you're Mike McDaniel and you're walking into a meeting right now today and you just found out Phillip Rivers is tomorrow, you might want to take that Charger job. You might want to.
What is going on with this John Morant saga? Right? Joe's on the block. Joe wants to be traded. But now Joe comes back and he denies all trade talk and says John says he has no desire to play elsewhere. So he shut it down. He's still viewed as a franchise centerpiece when on the floor. Memphis, they're better with him.
Pro basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
The Buffalo Bills have to find a new head coach. Take a look at the leaders right now. A 33% chance Brian Dable takes that job. You say, well, why? Wait a second here. He's the head coach of the New York Giants. Did you know he came from the Buffalo Bills and basically resurrected Josh Allen on that MVP trajectory while he was with the Buffalo Bills? Clay Kubiak, Joe Brady, Davis Webb, all offensive guys, which I agree with.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Sure, you could say the punt block is a key play in the game. It was.
It was.
But the signature play of last night's game is the John Elway-esque diving sideways into the end zone. There's a picture of it right there.
Yeah.
To effectively win the national championship. That dude's a baller.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Hold on a second, though. You believe that Mike McDaniel is not head coach caliber?
No.
There's a lot of evidence that says Cliff Kingsbury is not
That's
either.
fine that you believe that. But here's the thing.
There's more. Hold on a second.
Hang on, go ahead.
Mike McDaniel has a better resume than Cliff Kingsbury.
He does on paper, but he's not a locker room guy.
Well, is Cliff?
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. Tyrone Johnson's here. He's got 2 picks, by the way, coming up a little later on the show for both championship games. 3 o'clock and 6:30.
Yep.
All
Perfect.
right.
Great time.
You get the Pats Broncos first game. You know, it's funny that Pat Bronco game. What's the spread in that game, by the way? Denver favored.
It was
Patriots. Who's favored in that
Patriots,
game?
4.5 on the road.
Oh, because of Stidham?
Yes.
It's funny the way people talk about Jarrett Stidham the last couple of days. Now, Jarrett Stidham's essentially been a backup of his career.
Yeah.
He's the 3rd highest paid backup in football.
Yeah.
That dude makes $6 million. You don't pay a guy $6 million if you don't think that guy's capable of running your offense. Is that fair to say?
That's very fair.
So look, he's not Bo Nix, but Bo Nix hasn't been great. Bo Nix has been good.
Yeah.
He's had some good fourth quarters. He's got some Jackson Dart in him. He's got some Caleb Williams in him. You know, fourth quarter comebacks, that kind of stuff. But he has not been a dominant quarterback, but he's been a good quarterback. But the way I hear these dudes talking about Jarrett Stidham, I'm saying to myself, if all of y'all feel like Jarrett Stidham might even be the better quarterback in this game, which is crazy to say that considering he's not the starting quarterback, then how come no one gave Jarrett Stidham a job to be the starting quarterback?
Right. That's right.
Right?
Absolutely.
Because
People go
there are
too
not
far.
32 really good starting quarterbacks in the NFL.
No.
We were just talking about the Cleveland Browns.
Right.
Like they apparently don't have a starting quarterback. Right there, there's a bunch of teams that don't have a legitimate starting quarterback. You know, I know Josh McDaniels loved him. You know, brought him with him to Vegas or I guess Oakland, wherever it was. You know, to the Raiders. You know, to be the guy there. He obviously, Belichick loves him. You know, Brady loves him. Everybody talks about Stidham like you ain't gonna miss a beat.
Well, then,
Well, how come that dude don't get a starting job?
right. That's where I think it goes too far. Now, that doesn't mean he stinks, and you didn't say he stinks.
No.
But this
by the way, based on people that played the sport, I didn't play professional football, and hearing them, that some of them are just going to curry favor.
Yeah.
You know, they're Bronco fans or the Bronco world. But the way a lot of people talk about Jarrett Stidham, I heard it driving in this morning. There are people saying, like, well thought of, former quarterbacks right now saying, do not expect a major drop off when Stidham starts in this game. I heard Patrick Surtain last night saying that dude ran our offense in practice this week. I didn't even know Bo Nix wasn't out there. I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah. Do we have that audio of one of the teammates talking about Stidham?
Yeah, I saw the one you're talking about.
Yeah, if guys going too far. My issue with it is...
And the quote Tyrone's talking about, a guy, I forget which guy, lineman or something on the Broncos, came out and said, truth be told, I think Stidham's better than Drake May.
Right. If that's the case, then why isn't he starting anywhere, to your point? And this is where people go too far. Maybe it's not a big drop-off, but don't tell me it's no drop-off, because if he was just as good and he's cheaper, he'd be playing.
Right. And here's the thing. They're going to blitz his ass off. That's what this Patriot defense has done in both playoff games.
And it's worked.
We're going to come to you with the house. Now, if you can withstand that, if you can get some quick releases out there, if you don't panic, if you can make some plays with your legs, okay, fine. I think Sean Payton probably has to call the same game plan he would have called if Bo Nix was there. Maybe you come out of the gate with a lot of quick screen passes, just to get the kid comfortable. It's the biggest game he's ever played in his life. But the fact that the Patriots are favored by 4.5.
4.5 on the road.
I mean, Vegas is telling you, and Vegas is wrong a lot, that Jarrett Stidham can't play.
Right.
Because this is a home game in Denver. That is a tough place to play. That crowd will be awesome on Sunday afternoon.
Very cold weather.
And
both
yes,
teams,
I think
elements.
I'll pick them for sure. Patriots a slight favorite. I get it. They're the hot team. Defense is playing their asses off. They have dominated both playoff games. Their defense.
Right.
Those games weren't even close because their defense dominated both games. Final score at least. But the Denver Broncos have a pretty good defense too. And I gave you Drake May's numbers in big games. 5 games against winning teams, 6 tutties, 4 picks, 7 fumbles. Doesn't New England have a bit of a problem at quarterback also?
I mean, you would think.
Right?
And yet you're seeing that. And that bothers me, where I think sometimes people want to look like they're geniuses and not tell the truth, because if Denver wins, they can see, I told you so.
Right.
And if they lose, they'll just start talking about the Patriots.
Right.
They'll forget
Denver
what I
never
said.
had a chance. You had a backup quarterback. But wait, you guys just told me that backup quarterback's better than the starting quarterback.
Right.
Or just as good.
Just as good.
So
There's
that's
no
that game.
drop-off. Yeah.
Then you have the Rams in Seattle. A lot of people think this is some kind of jet-related story, like, Sam Darnold beats the Rams and Seattle beats the Rams. What's the spread in that game?
2.5.
Seattle favored?
Yep.
All right, I got no problem with that.
At home, yeah.
Rams have the experience. Seattle's got the defense and home field advantage, so it's about a wash there, I think. But I want to be clear about this. This is not. I saw someone, actually a colleague of mine, on the Fan put out a tweet today that I think is silly, and that is, this is the equivalent to the Giants losing Saquon Barkley to the Eagles.
Whoa!
And I'm like, no, it's not. Like, had Sam Darnold been a really good quarterback for the Jets, and the Jets decided not to keep him, and that he went to New England or Miami and led New England or Miami to the AFC Championship game in the very next year and a Super Bowl appearance and win, then I think it's apples to apples.
Yeah.
But, Sam Darnold left New York, went to Carolina, stunk in Carolina, went to San Francisco, didn't play, went to Minnesota for 1 year, had a great year, damn near threw for 5,000 yards and like 90 touchdowns, and didn't win a playoff game, and has now led Seattle to an NFC Championship game and the number 1 seed. How are those two stories similar?
No, they're not similar.
This is not a Jets story.
No.
If Sam Darnold leads Seattle to a Super Bowl, this doesn't make the Jets look any worse. It doesn't.
No, it doesn't make them look worse, but I will say this. You mentioned some bad teams in there. Carolina, before this coach, was bad franchise. Jets have been a bad franchise.
Yeah.
What it shows me is that Sam Darnold clearly had some talent.
Yes.
And the Jets at the time, by the way, it's like 2 coaches ago at this
It's
point.
multiple coaches, 3
Since then.
coaches now.
But the Jets organization didn't do a good job developing that talent, and Carolina did as well.
That's always been the case.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That's multiple
But
people,
Sam Darnold, so you're saying Sam Darnold going 14-3 last year, was that a Jet story?
No.
I didn't think so.
That was credit to
me. If anything, you could say it's a Carolina story.
Yeah.
He played for them more recently.
Right, and San Fran did help develop him because, again, that's a good organization.
Right. Kevin O'Connell, by the way, I think if you want to poke fun at anybody, I'd poke fun at the Minnesota Vikings. He won 14 games as the Vikings starting quarterback, and they let him leave for nothing for J.J. McCarthy, which is why they're talking about Aaron Rodgers now in Minnesota. So to me, this is a Viking story. This is a story how the Minnesota Vikings screwed the pooch. They had a guy who played great football for them. Sam Darnold didn't play well for the Jets.
Right.
So the Jets gave up on a very young quarterback after he didn't play well and quite famously saw ghosts. The Vikings have to answer for Sam Darnold's success, not the Jets. We've already made our deal with the devil on that one. Coming up, Tyrone's picks and a birthday to be celebrated by all red-blooded American men. That's coming up right here exclusively, by the way. Anybody else talking about it on The Carton Show. Sure, you could say the punt block is a key play in the game. It was.
It was.
But the signature play of last night's game is the John Elway-esque diving sideways into the end zone. There's a picture of it right there. To effectively win the national championship. That dude's a baller.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
I'll tell you what, guys. The insider scam is like the best insider scam in the business of, like, in the history of television. They don't know anything until their phone gets the text message in which the deal is done. Right? We saw this with Quinn Hughes. We were told, he wants to play with his brothers. He wants to play with his brothers. Now they're saying that he wanted to be traded to Detroit. In other words, just say you don't know.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Hold on a second, though. You believe that Mike McDaniel is not head coach caliber?
No.
There's a lot of evidence that says Cliff Kingsbury is not
That's
either.
fine that you believe that. But here's the thing.
There's more. Hold on a second.
Hang on, go ahead.
Mike McDaniel has a better resume than Cliff Kingsbury.
He does on paper, but he's not a locker room guy.
Well, is Cliff?
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Meanwhile, Charlie Baker of the NCAA has planted his flag. He wants to see the end of prediction markets, and of course is a little bit nervous with all of the different stories that we've heard surrounding sports betting allegations of some folks being corrupt out there and maybe some point shaving. It does make some sense here. I just wonder which of the sports betting operators are going to stand with the NCAA.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. A couple minutes away from Tyrone's big picks on the championship games. A couple news and notes for you real quick. Number one, happy birthday to Kelly Kapowski, also known as Tiffany Amber Thiessen.
Yes.
For many of us my age, or within about 10 years of my age, Tiffany Amber Thiessen represented perfection.
Listen,
Let's just say it the way it is. Perfection.
Listen, I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
I look at her as Valerie from Beverly Hills 90210.
Okay,
She did more episodes for the record of 90210 than she did Saved by the Bell.
Yeah.
She was tremendous as Valerie.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan.
I'll say this. Zach never deserved her.
Nope, he didn't. Jack didn't deserve it. I remember when I was in middle school,
put that out
people
there.
was in there going, man, you know Zach's not hitting that right. Like, that used to be the talk on the bus. Like, we didn't know.
Quick golf note. Scotty Scheffler played his first round of golf officially in the tournament yesterday. 9 birdies, 0 bogeys, hit 17 out of 18 greens in regulation. And the one green he didn't hit, he pitched in for birdie. Yeah.
He's a machine right now. He's a machine.
Pretty good, that Scotty Scheffler. Tomorrow night, you get the first Paramount production of UFC fighting. And that's where our guy, Song Dong, is fighting against Shawnee O'Malley. All right. You said your money's on the big dong.
That's right.
That's what you told me.
You never don't.
Break.
You always bet on the dong.
Yes.
It never loses.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
What's the loss, son?
Okay. Well. So your money's on Song Dong.
That's right.
All right. So I got you right there. Song Dong for Tyrone right there.
Big pick.
The NCAA, today's the deadline to expand the playoff or not. A lot of people want to go to 24 teams. Some people want to go to 18 teams. But in the moment, it looks like they are not going to expand for next year.
Yes. And here's the
12
reason why.
teams still.
The ESPN is basically like, we'll do whatever you want to do, but you guys have to agree. Right now, the SEC and the Big Ten are very far apart. And I think
the SEC has 2 months more.
No, SEC wants 16. The Big Ten wants 24.
Okay, they both want more.
They both want more, but Big Ten wants way more, and they believe that once the SEC gets shut out, because they have to play an extra conference game next year, basically every SEC team's going to have an extra loss next year because they're playing more against one another.
Got it.
That will force them to want a larger playoff when their teams get left out.
All
so
right.
the Big Ten's leveraging that.
Separate college football news. Notre Dame announced that their schedule this year,
it's weak.
8 of their games, 8 of their opponents next year lost 8 or more games this year.
Weak.
Notre Dame's in the top 12 next year. That's a lot.
Yeah, and with the new rule, they're in the playoffs. Also, for the major 4 conferences, they changed the rule. If they win the conference, they're all automatically in, which means with this year's format, the runner-up Miami would not have made the playoff at all this year with the format for next year.
The state of Illinois put a 50-cent tax on every legal wager that's made on the legal wagering sites like FanDuel, DraftKings, Fanatics, BetMGM, etc. And in the last 6 months, they've lost 5 million gamblers.
Of course.
Have gone elsewhere to gamble because they put a 50-cent per bet tax in. They're now considering rescinding that tax and bringing the gamblers back to Illinois. Morons. Jim Irsay, his death is being questioned now. Investigators are now, I think they might be digging him back up, going after the doctor that was prescribing him allegedly opioids and ketamine on a daily basis.
Yeah.
They now think he might have OD'd on drugs given to him illegally by his physician, which is a Michael Jackson story all over again. And now that brings us to Tyrone's playoff picks. Tyrone ended the year on a down note, but he's still 14 games over 500.
Yeah,
and he's back.
I got the national championship game correct. Most people didn't have Miami. I did. Nice. Just going to not have any positivity.
Who's better than you?
All right.
Well, most people.
No one. All right. I'm amongst the best in the country. Let's start over in the AFC, going order. Also, very glad we get 2 games that won't be affected by the snow. I say that for quality of play.
Sure.
I don't want guys playing in a blizzard. All right. I like the Patriots minus the 4.5 at the Broncos. You brought up all the Stidham things. I think that's real. The other part about it is that I'm just gonna be honest. I don't think the Broncos are that good. If they prove me wrong, they prove me wrong. I like their defense, but I don't think as a team they're that elite team. I don't think they have elite weaponry on offense. I think the Patriots are just playing better. So that's why I have them covering the 4.5 on the road.
Look, Cortland Sutton's going to have a big game. Mims is going to have a big game, and they're going to have to run the football.
Yeah.
The New England defense is coming to get him because that's what they've done in the playoffs, and they've done it better than anyone, including the Houston Texans.
Yeah.
So, look, I'm shocked that Denver's an underdog, but it's based on the quarterback. I wonder if Bo Nix was playing, my gut is that this is a pick 'em.
Yep.
I don't think Denver would have been a big favorite or a favorite at all. All right, and your second pick, Rams and Seattle. I think the last time they played, they went for 70-plus points combined.
Yeah, this one is tough. The line, the over-under is under 50, which is a little bit telling. I think they think there's going to be more defense in this game. I lean Rams. I'm going Seahawks minus the 2.5
Wow.
versus the Rams. I picked the Seahawks that they can make it and got ridiculed for them making the Super Bowl somewhere around week 8. Ethan's going to owe me a public apology coming up on Monday. I like the Seahawks minus 2.5 versus the Rams.
Ethan just said with the snowstorm he will not be in on Monday.
Oh,
so you get the apology Tuesday.
Very convenient. Very convenient.
Forget about the spread. Because I don't gamble, obviously, and I acknowledge you have to talk about the spread, so I have no problem with us doing it. Obviously, gamble responsibly. I think you are looking at the Rams and the Patriots in the Super Bowl. I'm with you on the Patriot game. Right. I'm not with you on the NFC game. I think the Rams are your Super Bowl champions, and Matthew Stafford gets into the Hall of Fame. Have a great weekend.